You.
Ew!
It's Laura here. We're going to do an episode of Ew. It's been far too long, and I'm super excited to be back with this mic in front of me. Sadly, Grace is not able to join us. She is busy coaching cheerleading. We're going to try to get together as soon as we can to get some more episodes in together. But for now, you're going to be listening to me solo. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but we're doing it. I just have a lot I want to say. Like I said, it's been too long. This school year is off to a start, and I have some really good kids, and I have some difficult days. That's all I'm going to say about that. But I am going to tell you some of the current trends and noises that I'm hearing going on in my classroom. I don't know if you guys remember when we were kids and we'd wrap our hand into a circle and put it against our mouths with your pinky up, and you say girl, 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 but it sounds like this. Girl, 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 girl. Okay, well, that trend is back, except kids do it while you're teaching. So that's the new part. Super fun. The other thing is that we are taking Post-it notes, turning them into these darts. They're taking staples or a pencil lead and using it at the tip of the dart, and then they're throwing them into the ceiling. Again, this all occurs while a teacher is teaching, while class is going on. So we've got darts being thrown into the ceiling. We've got this noise happening. Kids are just screaming 6, 7 every time you say the number 6 or 7. And I've seen on TikTok something that I fear will be coming soon, and it's the bada bada bingo or something like that, and then they fall out of their chair. Bada bada bingo, fall out of your chair. Hasn't happened yet, but I'm waiting for that to be the next fun and exciting thing I get to experience while being an educator of the youth of America. So really looking forward to that. Since we've last chatted, I had a very relaxing summer break. It was awesome. Did all the fun things. But one thing that I made a note of that I wanted to chat about was this use of AI. I want to talk about AI because I've got so many thoughts, questions, mixed feels. Some of it is ew. As we know, it's bad for the planet. So ew to that. Here, a little sad trombone, if you will. But I went to Vegas over the summer, and my husband and I were trying to do all the things. So you could only hang out in the pool and, for so long, right? So we wanted to do shows and such, and people were like, oh, you should check out the Sphere. Well, they didn't have any concerts or anything while we were there, but they had a film that was being shown, and it was called Letters from Earth. And I was like, yeah, why not? We're here, let's go experience the Sphere. So upon arrival, we are greeted in the lobby by a robot. There's a couple of AI robots that look like they are in a sci-fi film, and they're gonna be your house nanny or something. That's the vibe of what these look like. And there's a person who works there, and they're telling you go ahead, ask this robot a question, and you're like, I don't know what to ask it, but kids are asking questions and it's responding. So you're immediately like thrown into this very futuristic situation. You're witnessing these AI robots interact. They look very lifelike. They are blinking and moving the way humans do. Then you take an escalator up to your seats, and while you're traveling up this escalator, you could see this like 3D hologram. A hologram, that's what it is. I don't know if it's 3D. It's a hologram of a human like floating in the open space. So again, extremely intense, like new technology. You've just met a robot, you're witnessing a hologram. Then you go into the theater and it is a true sphere. Like the screen itself goes from practically the floor to like the floor behind you. Like you're just in this globe. Okay. So super cool. You don't need 3D glasses. It is a full-on experience of a 3D film, but no glasses needed. And it's 4D because you can also like feel the breeze and the water. And there was even like smells coming out. So this film starts off, two people are on another planet waking up for the first time inside of some kind of fancy machinery, and they're like struggling for air, and the machine is trying to calm them down and explain to them that they are on a new planet, but they originally came from the planet Earth. And then it's going to give them the background information of like what happened and why they're here now. So it's like planet Earth, and then it, right, like travels back into the beginning of time. And it travels back and you're like in the ocean. And then it's like in the deepest depths of the ocean, and you're feel like you're actually scuba diving because it's such a intense experience and it's very cool and everything looks beautiful. And then, you know, you're in the mountains, and then you're in a forest. You're basically experiencing all the different parts of nature that the world has to offer, all the different climates. And then it introduces animals. And now you're starting to see like, oh, like, you know, there's an elephant and stomping, and you could feel the shaking of the elephant, and you could feel the smell of it, you know, all of that. So it's very cool. Then it starts to introduce humanity and all the beautiful parts of humanity and all the different cultures of the world and all the religions and all the people coming together and celebrating life and all of that. And it's super beautiful and super cool. And then more people, and then more people, and then the overcrowding of people, and then the selfishness of humanity. And you already know where this is going, and I knew where it was going. And it just continues and continues to progress to the overuse of technology and the overdigging of our resources and the pollution and just everything that humans do that is the worst. And you're sitting there in this theater that is the like most modern technology that I have ever experienced and seen. And you've just met a robot and witnessed a hologram. And now you're watching this movie that's making you think about the morals and like question humanity's use of resources and pushing it to the limit, right? Which we do. So I was like super in my feels and in my head, and obviously the planet Earth doesn't do well, which is how these people end up waking up on this other planet, and they're tasked with like starting a new life there. So that was the film, and like after it was over, it was just like this dead silence in the theater, because I don't think I was the only one that was like in my feels. Now Brian was like, my husband did a better job of being able to like focus on the cool aspects of the technology, and he was just like, oh, like that experience was awesome. I was so stuck on the message of the film that it like took away the enjoyment of being in that type of theater. I was like, you don't want to be on a vacation going to a theater to witness this new technology to learn a message about how this will ultimately be the demise of humanity itself. And that's, my brain was stuck in that cycle of just thinking about how, like, yeah, we have all these things, but should we be using them? And then I was like, gosh, and here we are on vacation, and I just paid a ton of money to see this film, and now I'm just mad. So we went to this like Italian dinner after, and I was like, I don't even want to talk about it. I just want to sit and reflect in my thoughts. And my husband was like, okay, like how long are you going to do that for? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know. It really like had me in my feels. Of course, like a week later, they started playing Oz, which is a version of The Wizard of Oz, which I'm sure is a much more fun film to see in that setting, because it probably doesn't make you question life and humanity and the way that we are as a society, and how we'll ultimately ruin things because of our greed and selfish nature. So I don't know, that's been something that I've just been like thinking about, and then it like ties into today with AI in general. Like, it's so convenient as a teacher to have AI help you. There's so many tools, and like generating images to make characters for books, and just like all these things that it can do that help our kids learn. But at the same time, like at what cost? I don't know. I don't have the answers, but I just thought I'd share my experience. Other than that, Vegas was super cool. Had a great time. Spent some time outside of the Vegas Strip and went and did a kayaking excursion on the Colorado River, which was like near the Hoover Dam. And it was so beautiful. While it was extremely hot, the water itself was very cold, which was incredibly refreshing. And it was just a nice change of pace. So I would recommend, if you go to Vegas, finding some time to find the nature in Nevada, because there is beautiful nature. I think the United States has insanely beautiful places to visit that we don't always think about checking out when we're somewhere, but I highly recommend finding the time to do that. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is Facebook. Are we still keeping our Facebooks? I check mine from time to time, and I'll have like 20 notifications, and most of it is just nonsense. I don't even know why it's notifying me of these things. So I don't actually use it. I think I appreciate when it reminds me of a friend's birthday, but then I don't message them via Facebook, because then I feel like if it's like a real friend, like I'm not sending you a Facebook message, happy birthday. That's like for people that are acquaintances, right? Like, happy birthday, so-and-so, like that's fine. But if you're my friend, I'm messaging you. So it's just like, oh, sometimes it notifies me of the person's birthday. Okay, kind of helpful. And then I guess I kind of like Facebook Marketplace sometimes. I have bought some nice pieces of furniture from there. My question is, am I too far in? Like, can I delete it? I mean, I know I can, but like, can I personally delete it? I don't know. I don't know why I'm holding on to it. There's pictures on there, I guess, from like a long time ago that I could possibly go on and just download to my phone and save in my Google Photos, right? It would take time, but it could be worth it. I mean, I looked back and I found today a post that I made on Facebook in 2013. And it says, "The weekend is going by too quickly. If only I could freeze time." I posted this for everyone to see. What? Ew. Ew is what everyone should say. It has 8 likes, which is 8 too many. I'm judging the people who liked it. Why would I feel that I need to announce that the weekend is going by too quickly? Obviously, everyone feels that way. And we all wish that we could freeze the weekends and make them last. So Facebook was stupid then. And the person that I was 12, 15 years ago is obviously not somebody that I'm interested in remembering based on what I'm seeing here. So I think it's probably time to just delete it, right? Is anyone still using it? What are your guys' thoughts? Let me know if we're keeping the Facebook, because that's been a thought of mine lately. All right, the next thing I wanted to talk about is a Netflix documentary that we need to discuss. I need everyone to pause this if you have not seen The High School Catfish Unknown Number. It's called Unknown Number, The High School Catfish Cyberbullying, or something like that. If you haven't seen it, I need you to pause this, go watch it, and then come back, because I'm gonna spoil some things. So if you're uninterested in hearing the spoil, then I need you to pause and return later. All right. In this documentary, there is a teenage girl who is dating a teenage boy, and they are normal, seemingly very normal teenagers living their very normal teenage lives. And they seem to have very average normal families in an average American home. This girl starts getting these crazy text messages harassing her and her boyfriend. The family is like, these are horrible. They take them to the police. For a year, this girl is harassed. Okay, the boyfriend breaks up with her over it. He is uninterested in being with her if it means that they're going to have to continue to receive these crazy text messages. She is distraught. These messages, when I say ew, I mean there are messages where this girl is told to go kill herself. This girl is told, like, she is called the nastiest names. She is, I mean, it's unbelievable, okay? Like, she's called a slut and, like, and so much worse. And then she's, like, made fun of, like, told she has no... You just need to watch it, okay? I mean, the comments are upsetting. So you get to see the perspective from the girl, from the boyfriend, from the families, and then the police. And the police are like, I don't know, like, we're really trying to figure out who did this. The phone, like, pings from all these different places. Like, they can't get a full-on straight answer of where this is coming from. Okay, well, eventually, after more and more digging, okay, I kid you not, a year and a half or so of this girl and her boyfriend being bullied, the police discover that the girl's own mother was sending her harassing text messages. In one instance, telling this girl to go kill herself. When they asked this woman, weren't you afraid your daughter may in fact harm herself? She said, no, I know she wouldn't do that. Well, girl, how did you know? You did not know. You're crazy. So the craziest part to me is that this woman is sitting in the living room smiling. Okay. And she's like, it was me. I did it. I was sending the text messages to my daughter. And she makes the stupidest face you've ever seen in your life. It's unbelievable. And you feel so bad for the daughter and this woman's husband, who was shook to his core by his wife's actions. He had no idea that what they were dealing with this entire time was her. It almost seems like a situation of some type of Munchausen's, perhaps, like where the mom loved the attention that the daughter was giving her, even though the attention was more like the daughter needed her mom. Like she needed someone because she's being cyber bullied and sent graphic, horrible, like vicious comments, and she just needs a mother to comfort her. And maybe the mother, in this creepy, disgusting, gross way, like enjoyed like comforting her daughter. The documentary also like alludes to perhaps that the mom had this weird obsession with the teenage boyfriend and wanted him for herself. But then she was like upset when the daughter broke up with the boyfriend, because then she like didn't have as many interactions with the boyfriend because he wasn't coming over anymore. So many layers of ew and gross, weird, strange behavior. But this woman went to jail. Okay, like she was convicted, guilty, served time. Not enough time, if you ask me, but served time. Came out of jail, sat on a couch and smiled for this documentary. Like had a camera on her face and was just like, yeah, like I just went through a lot when I was young. So life is hard. So I cyberbullied my daughter. Like, what? So anyways, please watch this documentary. It is unbelievable that people like this exist, and I'm sure there's far, far too many that do. But it's a good one, you guys. It definitely took me aback when it was revealed that it was in fact her own mother. Yeah. I've been watching a lot of documentaries lately. I watched this other one where this white woman lives in what is seemingly a predominantly Black community, and she is definitely giving off racist vibes from the get-go. But when the children are playing, the neighborhood children are playing in the grass near her residence, she calls the police immediately and like demands that these kids are removed from her lawn. It starts off kind of slow because it's just like this crazy woman. And I feel like we've all grown up with someone who is like, get off my lawn. At least I know I did growing up. Like I knew which lawns not to step on, not to put my bike near, which houses were going to have some old lady like out their window yelling at you. This was different though. This was more of like harassment. And this lady would be then calling the police on these kids. And from what it looked like and what the video was showing, these kids were not doing anything other than playing with one another. These are just kids playing. So she's just crabby, hateful, spiteful is what it seems. And this takes place in Florida, and I guess they have some law that's different than the rest of the country. Florida, shocking, a law different from the rest of the country, but I should really have looked the law up. I'm going to pause and look up the law. Okay, I found it. The law is called the Stand Your Ground Law, and it allows you to use or threaten to use deadly force if you're in a dwelling, residence, or vehicle and have a right to be there and you reasonably believe it necessary to prevent imminent death or great bodily harm. Okay, so like it basically says that like it's a way to justify shooting someone is what I'm understanding from this. So this story ends horribly, as you can imagine, but this woman, after yelling at kids, like a parent goes to confront her, and after she had provoked this parent, like, to come to her residence and argue with her, she stood from behind her closed door of her home, shot through the door, and sadly, the mother of one of the children gets hit and passes away. So this woman ends up being on trial, and it turns out that she had researched this law ahead of time, the Stand Your Ground law, which is what ended up getting her in trouble because she clearly then like had planned to cause harm. And it was really sad because this mom had like 4 kids, I believe, in the documentary. So that was really upsetting, but it just made me think of like the bogus laws that Florida seems to have that the rest of the world does not. But yeah, that was another upsetting documentary. And then the final thing that I watched recently was the Ed Gein story, which is not a documentary, but like a reenactment. And it is creepy. I don't think I realized that he wore the skin of his victims around. It definitely gives the vibes of Silence of the Lambs. Like you can tell that they got the inspiration from Ed Gein and like the put the lotion in the basket kind of stuff, because he is creating like lampshades and chairs out of skin, and it is a tough watch. Like I was super grossed out trying to watch it by myself, and I wish I hadn't. But him like talking to these corpses as if it is his mother and creating furniture out of human skin is pretty disturbing, to say the least. So that's my ooze for this week. We've got ew, like a true serial killer, ew to a crazy racist woman, ew to a mother who is like just harassing her own daughter on the internet. I don't know. There's so many crazy people in this world. It's honestly unbelievable. And I'm sorry that was such a heavy topic. I should probably end this episode with something light and funny. The lighter note that I would like to end on today is that a few weeks ago, Mr. Kanye West, Ye, posted a list of his betrayals, and these people ranged, the list was, it didn't really have a rhyme or reason to it, but his own daughter was on it, North West, and that was the part that was comical to me. And he ended up deleting this list, but the internet had already seen it. It was too late. So this inspired me to make my own betrayal list, and most of my betrayals are not people, but things. So I'm going to read you some of those, and that's how we'll end this on a lighter note today. 1. BMI charts. Science has proven these are not accurate as a solo thing to determine one's health, and yet doctors continue to use them. Boo. Restaurants with Pepsi products. Who likes Pepsi products? Way less people than the Coke product people. Okay? These are facts. So if I go to a restaurant and they're like, is Pepsi okay? I'm like, no, I wanted a Diet Coke, you know? Number 3, the lottery. Why haven't I won yet? I think it's rigged. I'm going to skip some on my list here. I'm going to go down to beer cheese soup. And this is how we'll end today. I once went to a restaurant with my best friends and I said, I have a stomach ache. And this was the start to our night. We were younger and we had a whole outing planned. Dinner was step 1. And I did not feel well. I said I should get something light. So I looked at the soup list and they had beer cheese soup. And instead of saying, I'm just going to get a water, I said, stomach ache, something light, I'll get the beer cheese soup. Let me tell you, I spent a long time having to sit in that restaurant bathroom with a more severe stomach ache than I had previously had. And my friends continue to laugh about it to this day. And whenever you have a stomach ache, you can just say, I think I'll get the beer cheese soup. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I think is a wrap. Yeah. Thank you for hanging out with me today on this episode of Ew. I hope to have more episodes out soon. Ta-ta for now.
Ew!
Ew.
Ew!